Hi, and welcome to It's My Dream, My Legacy, Pass It On. I'm your host, Miss Danya Murphy, and I'm so glad to see you back again. Today we are here with Miss Christina Mugambi, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does.
Hi,
Christina.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. So what is it that you do?
I am a graphic designer.
Okay.
So when people think graphic design, the first thing they think is logo, but it extends much further than just logos. We actually help a person establish an entire look and feel for their company. So it starts out with a logo, but everything builds up from that. The stationery, your brochures, website design, any kind of apparel, promotional devices, things like that. The graphic design is involved in it.
So it says that you're an owner, so you own your own company.
I do.
Okay, so what's the name of your company?
It's Rough Designs.
Rough Designs.
And I've owned it since 2003.
Wow. Okay, so what type, is there a particular type of genre of designs that you do, or how does that work?
Most of the work I've done is actually corporate and also educational. A lot of my clients are usually marketing departments.
Okay.
So I've worked with different marketing departments, for instance, Georgia Pacific, or advertising agencies that handle Coke. And then also I've done work for Kennesaw State University.
Oh, wow.
In particular, most recently, the housing department. I was responsible for the entire look and feel of all the collateral that's used there. So it kind of it depends on what kind of client I get.
Okay.
But most of the time it's corporate and small businesses with marketing departments.
Okay. What made you decide to be a graphic designer?
It's an interesting story. I've always been creative, whether it was playing the piano, violin, or painting. So I actually started out as a paint major and an illustrator.
Okay.
And then one fateful day I was in class and the painting instructor said, get ready to be starving artists. And that didn't sit too well with me. I don't want to be a starving artist. I want to be able to maintain a comfortable lifestyle. So I switched majors to graphic design, and I didn't look back. I still paint, but now I use graphic designs as a means to support myself.
At least you're not starving.
No. Well, that's relative, but no, I guess not.
No, it's not good to starve. I'm like I say, I like food, so the whole starving thing doesn't sit too well with me. I probably would have changed mine the same day as I found that out. When you decided to be a graphic design artist, what were some steps, or what were some obstacles rather, that you had to overcome?
The major obstacle was being behind most of my peers. I'm originally from Kenya.
Oh, okay.
So when I came to the States, all the people I was already in classes with already knew how to use a computer.
Right.
So I had to do a lot of catch up. Just learning how to switch on a Mac was a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah.
But what I did to overcome that is I spoke to a university counselor and asked them to put me in touch with a mentor.
Okay.
And this mentor, after hours, would actually sit down with me and just walk me through how to use different software. I learned how to use Quark and Photoshop and Illustrator, so that when I'd come back to class, I was almost at par with my classmates.
That's good.
So
that took a lot
it was
of
dedication. A lot of behind the scenes work just to be on pace with everybody else.
Right. And that took a lot of hard work. You did it, girl.
It took a lot of hard work, and part of that is because when I came to school here, I was on scholarships. So I had to maintain a certain GPA
level to remain.
So it was not an option of, do I want to be competent in graphic design? I had to be.
Right.
So it wasn't a choice, really.
Okay. Is there anything that you would change about the avenue or the highway that you took to get to where you are today?
What I would change is getting a little more business sense. I was fortunate when I started my business that I already had a family that was able to augment what I didn't know. I have a sister who's an accountant and an auditor, so she was able to handle their finances.
Okay.
I have another sister who was in public relations, so she helped us get the business in front of a lot of organizations. And then I had another sister who was already in advertising.
Okay.
But outside of that, I wasn't ready to be a business owner.
Okay.
Little things like just starting the corporation and just getting it running and being able to market it with things I had to learn as I went, as opposed to have already been exposed to it and growing with it.
Right.
So it took a lot of time outside of the creative just to get the business side of the house up and running, because a lot of people don't realize when you are a small business owner, you're not just working in the capacity of your field and your specialty, you're also customer service, you're also the custodian, you're also the, the go-to person for everything else. So what I would have done differently is identifying individuals and other companies that could have stepped in to fill in those roles.
Okay. That way you would have been better prepared, and it wouldn't have been such a struggle for you to get everything off the ground and moving.
And not leaning so heavily on my family members.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you feel is the best way someone can enter into the graphic arts field?
Well, there's two ways to do it. Tried and true method, obviously, is through formal education. Go through a university program, private college, or a technical school, just to get the skills.
Right.
Because you can buy the software, but you need to know some of the elements and principles of design, just so you can explain to clients and customers what your design sensibility is. So formal education is really important. But in addition, you need the informal part, which I guess back in the day was really important if you were in a trades field, because you would basically learn under somebody who's already doing. So it depends which route you're more comfortable with, whether you want to go through formal classes or whether you want to go under the wings of somebody who's been doing it for a long time. If school is not doing really well with you, it doesn't mean you can't be a successful designer, because most designers are already creative anyway. The class structure just helps you accelerate past somebody who's almost like going through what is it called? An internship.
Okay. Okay. What do you feel is the best way someone can achieve the level of success as far as being a business owner as yourself?
A mentor. That was the best thing I did as a student, and even now. I've actually had professional mentors that I speak to who have helped guide me down the path I want to go. There is nothing new under the sun, so why try and invent it? The best thing you can do is innovate something that's already existing, and by having a mentor guide you, you can very easily see where it is you want to be and take the necessary steps to get there without trying to identify what those steps were to begin with if you didn't have somebody to shadow.
And that way you don't have to keep falling on your face,
and wondering what to do differently. You can ask the questions of the people who have been there before you.
That's definitely good advice to give, so that way they can help as far as getting you off the ground and any questions or concerns or anything they've been there. So you're kind of just like following a checklist instead of trying to make your own from scratch. What legacy would you like to be known for?
That's a good one. Actually, it ties into something that I'm currently working on. I used to teach university classes at a college in Atlanta, and one of the challenges I faced was the students coming out and being caught in a situation where they were trying to apply for jobs but didn't have the experience. So it's almost like the chicken and egg situation where you go for a job interview, they say they're looking for somebody with experience, but how do you get the experience if no one's given you the opportunity? So what I'm in the process of doing is creating a grant proposal that I'm hoping I can turn into a creative residency center. So it's something that I want to open up to university students in the Metro Atlanta area, where we would select students from different universities, so maybe from Kennesaw State, Georgia Tech, Agnes Scott, and have them work together as peers for an entire year during their senior year, so that when they come out, they've had the opportunity to work under professional designers, whether it's people in media, illustration, traditional art, so that when they come out, they can then decide for themselves, do I want to be employed, or now should I choose the opportunity to become self-employed since I have the skill set after being part of this creative residency program to now start my own business and be self-employed.
So that definitely that gives them the opportunity to get the experience, or to go and want to work for a big company, or should I go and start from the ground up and make my own? That's good. That's definitely it's going to be really big as far as, you know, the process and people, you know, needing that so that they can have the validated experience. Because
and it's not to say that the universities aren't doing their job, but this would be something that partners with the universities and says, okay, your students are going through this program. This is something we can give them in addition that will help satisfy their need once they graduate.
Wow. And that allows them to go hand in hand, because if you come with the experience and you don't have the education,
exactly,
then you still come up with the shorter end of the stick, and it's horrible. What advice would you like to give our viewers that are watching today? I don't believe in old people. I believe in seasoned people, because you only get better with time and you get more flavor as you get more experience. So we have youth as well as seasoned adults. So what is it that you would like to tell them that are watching today? What advice would you like to give them?
I would say surround yourself with positive people.
Okay.
And when I'm saying positive, I don't mean people who will always say yes.
Right.
You need people who will point out when you are about to stumble and fall. So when I say positive, it's those individuals who are going to ensure that what you're trying to achieve, first of all, is attainable if you put in the time, energy, and have the passion for it, but will also keep you encouraged. Especially if you are going to be self-employed. It's a really, really difficult challenge, because you have to get up every day and find new creative ways to move forward.
Right.
So I'd say have a nice circle of people you can turn to, whether it's your church family, whether it's your individual nuclear family, family and friends, or other peers.
Okay.
I do a lot of networking with other creatives, and we kind of feed off each other. And when we get down, those are the people you can turn to, because they know exactly what you're going through.
Right.
So just having a network of individuals that will help propel you, whether it's a good time or a bad time.
Right. Yeah. And they can definitely help push you even further along. You push each other so that you're not, you know, working and struggling by yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes those people who technically would be considered your competition could be your strongest allies, because they can identify opportunities for you.
Right.
A specific example is a graphic designer I know is not an illustrator, and I am.
Okay.
So when she ran into a situation where a client needed an illustrator, she referred me.
Wow.
So I'm still looking for an opportunity to be able to reciprocate and pass that favor back to her.
Right.
But working with people in your field and people who know what it is you're trying to achieve, I think is really important, regardless of what your industry is.
Okay. And definitely, they say it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
It takes a village to complete a big business, your own business, being an entrepreneur. So it's great that you guys are keeping that together and you're working together in harmony, and not, well, I don't want her to get this job, or I want to get this job. You know, you guys are working together.
Yeah, you need to turn your competition into your allies.
That's good. That's definitely valuable information to keep. Well, Ms. Mugambi, to sum up everything that we're talking about tonight, what do you think is the best way for our viewers to achieve some goals that they may have?
I would say persistence. You have to, first of all, identify what it is you are trying to do.
Okay.
And chart out a course to get there. And have people that can be your accountability partners.
Right.
So that if you start veering off the path, they'll pull you back in and say, I thought this was the way you're trying to go. You seem to be veering off. How do we get you back to where you want to be?
Right.
Which can be challenging sometimes, because you never want people to point out when you have fallen short.
Right.
But it's important to have those individuals around you. So having that persistence, having people, like I said, that you surround yourself with, that will make sure that you're moving forward in a positive direction, I think are two key components. And just also believing in what you're trying to do. I'm not saying far-fetched dreams that, you know, I believe I'll get to the moon without NASA's help is not really a practical dream.
Right.
But you have to at least identify an achievable goal, and then find the people to surround yourself with that are going to help you attain it.
Okay. You got to have the vehicle. You can't say that you're just going to fly the moon without getting a vehicle. That's not going to work. You'll be looking crazy. And you need a fishbowl on your head so you can breathe out there. Gotta have a plan.
Yeah, you have to have a plan and people to help bring that plan to life.
Okay. Well, Ms. Mugambi, I'd like to thank you for coming out today and sharing time with us and giving your thoughts with wisdom and knowledge, and educating us on the graphic arts field, and definitely thank you for giving us everything that you could, because I'm taking everything that I can.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time.
And we have to have you back again sometime,
Anytime.
find out what's going on in the graphic arts design world.
I would love to come back and talk about the foundation once I get it a little more fleshed out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely come back and have another conversation with you about that.
Awesome.
And I'd like to thank all of you out there for paying attention, and definitely I hope that you're taking notes, because if not, you'll be looking crazy. But until next time, I am your host, Ms. Danya Murphy. Thank you for tuning in, and remember, you gotta have a plan, or otherwise you'll be looking as crazy as somebody who wants to go to the moon, but with no vehicle. So remember, until next time, remember that you can achieve anything that you want. You have to put your mind to it, you have to work hard, and you have to definitely stay focused. And until then, I will see you next time. I'm your host. See you later. Bye-bye.